What's up, everybody? It's the Spiritual Light Passing Through Pat, and I'm back at you with another video. This video is going to be about some of us who may have experienced violence in a very negative way. Growing up, being a teenager, or even as a adult or young adult. Okay, some of us have experienced domestic violence. Some of us have experienced rape, male and female. These are issues that some of us have had the privilege to go and get possibly a little bit of psychological help with that. Go talk to a psychiatrist and things like that. And many of us, when it comes down to black people, have not been able to talk to anyone about it. We walk around and say we're okay when we're not okay. I can be a person that can profess to that. At some point in my youth, I was not okay with what had happened to me. And I had a situation that helped me a bit, that I did with myself, because I didn't have the ability to go professionally and talk to someone. And when I did go and talk to people, I didn't, basically the groups that they did have for people who went through a horrendous or violent act like that were basically, groups where people relived the situation. And I was the type of person, I wanted to see somebody who had overcome the situation, they were all right, and that they had a decent life and were able to come back from it. And I never found those types of things, so I didn't go to those types of groups anymore. But what the Most High did for me was this. He let me see something, so I'm going to share it with you. When it comes down to those situations, many of us have left those people, as I told you in other videos, inside rooms by themselves where that act happened, and we never went and gathered that person that was left in that room, that part of ourselves that died. That's the part, that's how I kind of can see it, as the part of ourselves that died. Because once you leave that situation, you leave that old part of you that was violated in those situations in the past, but you come out this new being, and you don't know exactly what this new being is at all. This new being is quick to go off. This new being is hurting other people because it's been hurt. So you've left that part of you that was innocent, that didn't know nothing about nothing that day when everything went berserk and your whole life changed, and you looked around you, and in that room your life changed and everything else around you stayed the same. And it's like being in a funny world. It's like, how is this possible? My whole world has been broken and shattered in pieces, and the traffic is still going. People are still walking and laughing, but my life ended, and now I'm here. And because we don't want to feel that way, we leave that part of ourselves in that space. And unfortunately, that's not a good place to leave situations like that, or ourselves in those types of situations, because we don't never get over them, we don't never grow from them, we don't never heal from them. It just stays constantly, this thing that happens. And when we get into new relationships, we get into anything that triggers that situation, we go berserk, we lose it, we can't function. All of a sudden it's like a computer going crazy all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? And if you're violent, and because you have been scared in a situation, and you have become now a person that carries weapons and things like that, you could literally hurt somebody because someone triggered you and made you remember a traumatic situation that you don't want to remember. Okay? So today what we're going to do, a little deep diving, y'all, but you got to do the heavy lifting. We're going to go and take a small ride and pick up that person we left behind. We got to. I did that with your child side and things that happened in the childhood that were people who made you feel less than or inadequate. But now we got to go pick up that boy, that young girl, that young lady, that young man that was left in those horrible, violent situations that they had to fight their way out of, if they fought their way out of it. If you're here, you fought your way out of it in your own way. But there's a part of you that you feel you want back, but it's empty. You don't want to look at that ugly place. You don't remember that pain, but we got to go back. So I need you to take a deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, I need you to think back to that day. That horrible, horrible, horrible day. How it started, you know how it ended. We're not going to go in the middle of what happened. We already know about that. We don't need to relive that. But we're going to take our car. Or we're going to take any mode of transportation. And we're going to find our lost self. Because sometimes they're not in that room. Sometimes they can be walking the street. Just lost. And we're going to pull up. And we're going to go to that room, that house, that street. And we're going to tell that part of ourselves, I'll give you a ride. We're going to drive. Looking through the rearview mirror at ourselves in the back. Beat up, messed up, all of that. You know, and we're going to talk to ourselves in that car. Because we need to go and grab that person. We're going to pull over to the side and we're going to talk. And say, hey, is there anything you want to talk about? And that part of you is going to notice it's you. And they're going to be a little bit upset. Why are they going to be upset? They're going to be upset because you left them. You didn't go back and get them. Well, I'm here to get you now. I'm sorry I left you in that room. I'm sorry I forgot about you. You need to talk to that part of yourself. And that part of yourself may be very angry. That part of yourself may be screaming at you like a banshee. Ah, you know what I'm saying? And want to get out the car. It don't want to talk to you. But you're going to have to lock those doors. And you're going to have to talk to that side of yourself. And I would advise you to climb in the back seat. If you can. And wrap your arms around that part of you that is so upset, that is so angry that you left them, that is so upset that they were abandoned in that situation, that is so upset that that situation happened to them, and that part of you thought died was still somewhere breathing, and you yourself never came back to go get it. You completely abandoned you. You didn't even realize it. You're going to have to sit there and you're going to have to hug that person. You're going to have to hug that person and rock that part of you and say, I'm never going to leave you like that no more. I'm so sorry that happened to us. It wasn't our fault. We didn't do anything wrong. Those were sick people. But I can't leave you here no more because I got to heal. And I got to take you out of this room. I got to take you out of this place. And don't be surprised if that part of you wants to get out the car and run away. You're going to have to hold on to it even tighter and say, I'm not letting you go. I'm not letting you go. And you can cry and you can scream as long as you need to scream. But I am not letting you go. I'm not leaving you here. I'm not going to desert you in this. And you tell that person, that part of you, I'm never going to leave you like that. I can't leave you ever again like that. I'm sorry, y'all. This is something I had to do for me. Because I became something different than I was. I was a young lady that had felt like life was big and everything great was going to happen for me till one day I ran into somebody that was crazy. Okay? And I left a huge part of myself someplace. And I kept trying to go get that girl and put her in that room, in the car with me. And she kept running down the street like a banshee screaming. And I would have to search for her regularly until one day I found her and she was okay with getting in my car. In fact, she snatched me from the driver's seat to the back seat. She beat up on me for a minute until something told me to grab and hold her and say you love her. Because from that time I had left her in that room, all she did was run into different people who misused her over and over and over again in her regular life. They may not have been that other person, but they were similar. This had to stop. And when I finally got a chance where she stopped running out of the car and held her and wouldn't stop holding her, she disappeared. I became my old self again, a little better, a little smarter, more wiser. But I wasn't as angry anymore. I was able to let that hurt go. I was able to love my child better. I was able to stop running away so much from my life. See, I didn't go into drugs. I didn't go into drinking. I was just shut off from the world to a certain extent. I became two different people. I became the Pat that went to work in the area in which her family would smile on and feel like she's doing the right thing. And then I became the nightlife diva of Chicago, darling. Okay. But there was a part of me that I was completely and utterly not dealing with. And that was a part of me that I left in that room. The part of me I thought had died. In fact, I didn't even want to look at pictures of myself when I was that age, because I didn't know who she was. I'm like, I don't know who that is. She looked so innocent. She looked so, wow. The person who I am now, the person who I was, and who I became was not innocent. I became the chick who wore black all the time. I became a very different type of woman. I was very skilled inside of all kinds of weapons and all kinds. Baby, every gun. I got every gun on the man up here. But trust me and believe, I became somebody different. But that was because I was hurt. It ruined a lot of things. It ruined a lot of things. My ability to have relationships with people. Okay? You got to find that part of yourself that you leave in those situations. You got to get reacquainted with it. And you have to love that side of you too. That was naive, that made a mistake, that trusted the wrong people, that, loved the wrong people, all of those types of things. And you have to let yourself have a moment and forgive yourself. Let yourself off the hook. You can't be everything. No more than you can be everything to everybody else. You can't be everything to yourself either, not all the time. Sometimes you mess up. That's what this life is about. It was an experience. Terrible. But look at me now. I can help somebody else. I can help somebody else. Don't leave those pieces of yourself scattered everywhere. Because all you do is make more and more pieces of you scattered, and it's going to be harder for you to come in and find them and bring them all back in at some point, because you will have to become whole again. This is the reason why you have to trust the Most High with these types of things because he's walking with you through all of that. He saw that whole situation that happened with me. He saw who I became. I don't think he was happy with that. But I could have been worse. I could have really went terribly down all kinds of awful paths, but I did not, thanks to him. But he saw all kinds of things that I went into. I hid, literally hid from men inside of the world of homosexual male men. Now that's the reason why I'm a diva, darling. I hung around gay men. Gay men were not, I wasn't scared of them. They didn't want me, so there's nothing to be scared of them for. You know what I'm saying? And people talk about our homosexual young men. But I'll tell you something. If it wasn't for them boys, I would have never came back. They kept me. They treated me like a baby doll. They healed parts of myself I didn't know I had. They gave me back my confidence for me to be able to date men again. So when people talk about those boys, they don't even have half a clue why they became how they became. Many of them were misused and hurt as children. But darling, the ones that I ran into brought me back from a very dark place, treated me kindly, respected me as a woman. And that was something that I needed. And I needed that from the male persuasion, because if I never got it, I would have went the other way or something even worse. But those young men that I met, and they're still my friends today, I love them dearly, did much for me. So I don't judge. Even those people that we look funny at, and we say that God doesn't particularly care for their lifestyle, you gotta ask yourself, where did it come from? Some were born that way, got the wrong bodies. But some went through the same thing I did. And they had to become something else to be able to stomach themselves, to be able to walk in this world. So I can't judge them, baby. I can't judge them. This is the reason why I don't like to deep dive so much, because I know what I've been through. So I can imagine what somebody else has been through. Learn how to go get yourself from those situations. And bring yourself home. Love on yourself. Forgive yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Some experiences happen to us in this life. I'll talk to you all in the next video. Bye.